Hey, my name is Vittoria Cassiano. I am a filmmaker and director, and I'm here today to talk about Dehancer because one of my favorite things about the entire creative process and filmmaking process is adding on the color. By no means am I a professional colorist. I learned everything through meeting the right people and asking tons of questions, through trial and error and just, trying new things, and through beautiful YouTube University. So today I'm going to walk you through how I use Dehancer and also show you past projects I've graded without Dehancer versus with Dehancer now that I have access to it. All right, so I have DaVinci Resolve open and I have all my clips uploaded in here from different past projects I've done. And one of my favorite clips from Situationship is actually the one where Angela is hanging out of the sunroof. So I'm just gonna, drop that in there. Yeah, so this is what it looks like with no color on it at all versus the end product I decided to go with in the final film. So basically how I figured out how to use this product, how to use Dehancer, is to literally just mess around with it until things started to make sense. So at first, one thing I will say is things look kind of complicated over here, but still way easier than figuring out all the curves and all that stuff. So pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do, which is what you always wanna do when you have log footage anyways, unless you're using some type of LUT that already has the conversion in it, is that you're gonna do a CST or use a conversion LUT, which I have right there. And a CST, you just go up here and you type in color space transform, and then you would drop that on there, and then you just put the input type of footage and output, and then you can go from there. So I already did that. So then, so you transform first, and then what you're gonna wanna do is you literally just type in Dehancer, and boom, you smack it on there. And then this is what it looks like without me doing anything to it really. So that was before and after, we're gonna adjust that for sure. So first things first, I don't want grain on this particular piece of footage. So everything is pretty much open, the things that you would need. And it's just a matter of going in and checking what you like or what you don't like. So I don't really, like I said, I don't want film grain on it, so there is. So then you go to the film grain and you just disable it, and then boom, it's disabled. And then the biggest part, I would say the centerpiece of Dehancer is all the really cool film profiles. So right now it's Kodak Vision 3 250D, but we can use any one of these, right? So I want to try, let's try, so let's go with Gold 200 because I want a warmer look for this. And if you don't know what film looks like what, which I also didn't know for some time, literally all you have to do is just click through them and test them all out, see how they all look on your footage and see what you prefer. All right, and then I literally just would slide things around, see how everything looks. If I don't like it, then I just Command D and go from there. And then here, let's say I did want film grain on it, it's an awesome opportunity to do that. And then there's all these different types. And then if you want to play through it, that's what it would look like with the film grain. Looks pretty fire, right? You can also add some halation. Let's say I wanted less. Let's say I wanted less grain. I'll go to 16. Yeah, so then I just changed it to ISO 50, 35 millimeter. Halation, let's say we want some halation. Let's just enable what they already have. I mean, I think that looks cool. It looks super soft. Makes the light look super soft. So let's take a shot where it's really bright, let's look at her face right here. So yeah, kind of just halation without width. It just makes it warmer, makes things look really cool, I think. I love some halation. And then you could just play around with the sliders. Same thing with bloom, enabled. That makes it look even cooler. So yeah, with bloom and halation, it looks super vintage, super warm, which is exactly the look that I was going for when I did Situationship. The only thing I would recommend is when you are using bloom and halation, it tends to take a toll a little bit on your computer. So I would just disable it until you're ready to export, or if you want to double check that it looks good. And then same thing, film breadth. All these things, they're amazing tools that like you wouldn't have otherwise. Like you would have to find overlays and use a bunch of different types of effects to get the final look. So it's nice to really have everything consolidated right there. And if you don't know what something means, like literally what I did is I just looked it up, and there's so much information online on what these specific things are. And there's a ton of also like settings in here that I don't even usually touch, but I'm still able to get some really awesome looking footage. And then, okay, so let's drop this clip on the timeline and let's try to go and do some color to that as well. So kind of looking at this clip here where I have Kayla and Gabby just like nervously trying to read a book together, flipping through the pages. Same thing, we're gonna do a color space transform or just a conversion LUT of your choosing. DaVinci has some really good ones already built in. Once you convert your footage, drop that Dehancer on there, and then you can go from there. Same thing. So source is Rec 709 because we already converted it, right? And first thing I like to do is just change the type of film that we're using. And honestly, one of my favorite parts of Dehancer is that you have all these different profiles. Like I said, this is one of my first times using it, and I'm not so familiar with film. You can literally just click through them and see what the different ones look like. And then you can feel it out and see like, do I want it warmer? Do I want it cooler? Do I like the contrast in this film? And so on and so forth. So I kind of like, so yeah, I think this one looks pretty cool when I scrub through the footage. I like how warm it is. And then like, let's say I didn't want any film grain on it. Everything is labeled super easily. So then I would just uncheck enabled and boom, no film grain, but I want a little film grain, so let's try what 50 looks like. 50 is like a little less noticeable. You can also add some bloom and halation, which I think makes all the difference, especially like in situationship where I wanted it to feel like nostalgic and warm and fun. I think the bloom and halation just makes everything look so much softer. And same thing here, you can totally adjust the amount that you'd like, which I think is super neat. I've honestly spent so much money on like LUTs and power grades just because color, like I said before, is my favorite part of the entire process, really. Like the shooting is fun, the post, you know, sound design, all that stuff is great, but taking that footage from the gray, like washed out colors and actually seeing it come to life is so beautiful. So I don't know, I just think it's so cool that you're able to do that all in one place, and you're able to play around with it without having to buy a million different LUTs. It's all just in one spot. And so just another example that we have here is from Feeling Stuck, a video I did recently. So again, we just converted everything and we slapped Dehancer on there. You know the drill already at this point. And then you select what you want. Which film do you want? I think I've been liking gold. I like warmer colors. So where is it? Kodak Gold 200. So I added the film grain on there. I'm gonna add some halation and some bloom. Like I said, I'm a fiend for those. On top of that too, you could just do the regular things that you do and you add in your adjustments. So I want it to look a little warmer. I feel like it doesn't look as warm as I want it to. So what I'm gonna just do is increase the saturation a bit. I want my colors to be heavier. Probably do some more contrast. Not as much contrast. I kind of want the highlights to be popping, so I'll just like add in some of that in there. Maybe add some orange in, lift the shadows a bit. And then you could do masks if you like to do masks, so on and so forth. But like literally everything you regularly do in your color grading process, you can do here with the nodes. But it just gives you, again, that ability to choose from basically a bunch of different LUTs without having to spend however much money on a bunch of different LUTs. So it's all in one place, which I really appreciate. So all in all, I think Dehancer is a really great tool that gives you the ability to experiment with different looks without having to buy like a ton of LUT packs and spend a ton of money. It's all there. And then you can add whatever adjustments you want on top of what Dehancer already gives you. I will say though, I think there are some things that could be improved. I kind of wish that when you were selecting a film profile that you want to use, you could hover over it the same way you can hover over a LUT, and it would show you kind of what it would look like before you apply it, just so you don't have to like physically click through. So that's one thing, if I'm being a little nitpicky, that I wish could potentially be changed. And if you're a multifaceted creative like I am and you do photography as well, they also offer photo editing solutions. So they have an app and they have an online version where you can actually edit your photos on the go, which I think is super cool, because a lot of times, like, I don't bring my laptop when I'm on vacation if I'm trying to unplug, but you know, I still have photos I want to post or photos I want to share, but I want to give them a more unique look. So yeah, if you're interested in Dehancer, you want to try it out, they have a free version that you could play around with, which I recommend doing to see if it fits within your current workflow, if it's something that you would find useful before, you know, taking the plunge and investing in it. But if you decide you want to invest and you want a discount, you can use my code VIDICreative for 10% off. So I hope you're able to find as much value in Dehancer as I do. I hope it streamlines your color editing process and that you learn a few new things along the way. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them below. I'll make sure either I answer them or I get someone from Dehancer to answer them. But yeah, good luck on your future projects. Thanks for watching.